Alright, YouTube, now this is what I'm talking about. 5 users have expressed direct interest in joining an alliance of sorts, and so I am officially endorsing their channels. Links in the description to all 5. These users, I'll read them out in a moment. I already checked them all on restricted mode, and of course, some of their content mysteriously is missing, some more than others. I don't even know that there's any specific rhyme or reason to the restricted mode sort of stuff that's going on with Google. That's probably a bigger concern than them fiddling around potentially with their general TOS. It could be this weird situation in which YouTube decides, we're actually going to relax our terms of service for the general user base. Maybe that's what they're talking about. But this restricted mode kind of defeats the purpose then, because many people can't actually see much of the material that's there. I looked at my own channel on restricted mode. Looks like about a third of my videos are missing, which is actually astonishing. I would assume that it'd be more than that. And most of them aren't even my political videos. I was like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. I'm like talking about social commentary. There's some video that I posted years ago on some totally random fringe topic, and nobody can see it in restricted mode. But then I upload a video about like the Trump wall or something, it's still there. I don't know. I don't understand. I mean, you'd have to do some research to figure out specifically what they're filtering for, how they're doing that. Maybe it has to do with user flagging or something, but then they need to really institute a system to remove those flags too on content that's not actually, 18 plus. Like any PewDiePie video ever made or something like that. Anyway, these are the 5 users that have expressed interest. Now, my request to them is to make your own video in which you support my channel and all other channels on this list, because that's sort of the point. It's not a two-way street between 2 people. It's a multi-way sort of system between multiple users. The idea is that as channels grow, they become harder to censor. As channels grow, they become much less likely to randomly get taken down because of a mildly offensive video, to stall out suddenly and not be able to actually reach out to other people, because even with the notification throttling and so forth, if a channel is quite large, it can be self-sustaining. When you're talking, upper 5-figure numbers of subscribers or something, if you can get to that margin, yeah, people are probably going to keep watching your material if it's any good at all. But then there are people with newer accounts that haven't, even close to reached that goal. And I want to support them, and I want their support. So that would be my request to you. Prop one another up and prop me up, and I'll do the same for you, and that's what I'm doing here. Now, if others want to get on board, it is best that you send a message on YouTube or the official Facebook page. If you leave a comment, it can get buried. There could be other people that are interested, and I won't necessarily know. I may not be able to see your comment. If you send me a message on either of those platforms, I will. If you tweet it out to me, I almost certainly won't see it because, I'm using that primarily just to spit out videos. But 5 links in the description, I'll read them out here. NollaGirl504, TheLordHumungus, the Gunman, who also goes by Zoe Stevenson, thecreepswork, and Semiogogue. And so these 5 users have expressed interest in this, been responsive to the idea. And it goes further than that. My other request to them would be, you've all got significant numbers of subscribers. Ask them to also talk about the situation with restricted mode and the possibility of terms of service being overhauled. And you perhaps should caution them. They should take a look around YouTube and look at all of the various channels, and they will find that this is an attack upon independent content creation. It is not an attack upon a political ideology. People keep trying to tell me that that's so. They say, oh yeah, but this right-wing YouTuber and that libertarian YouTuber, yes, I've had some of my content restricted as well. So has H.A. Gunman, who's a Bernie Sanders progressive. If they're trying to prop up some corporatocratic line, then I would agree with you if that's your opinion. But who are the corporatists? It doesn't mean left-wing, it means part of that same corporate complex that overlaps with establishment politics. I'm talking Clintonians, not Bernie Sanders fans. There's a big difference. Most of the content on YouTube is created by independent individuals. Increasingly, those individuals have been disenfranchised by and are hostile to establishment politics and corporatism. This is a corporate move. by groups that don't themselves have any real political axe to grind. They simply want to be the ones making money to push political lines. It doesn't matter what that political line is. There's a reason why Fox News is on that bundle. Yes, Fox News, very, very well known as a left-wing outlet. No, they're well known as generally a neocon outlet. Supposedly right-wing, but still part of the same corporatism. Some people said, oh, well, groups like the Young Turks and stuff, they'll just get bought up by a parent company, and so they'll be shielded from this. That's entirely possible if we don't act. But we can compete with platforms that large if we begin sharing support with one another. That's the point. It's the formation of one or more syndicates. And I'm not just talking about political analysis and social commentary. That's where it can start. People who talk about politics are probably going to be the most politically active. But if it begins to grow, if the idea takes hold, it can march beyond that. It can go into the realm of people on YouTube who make gaming videos. Maybe some of them pull together. People who do fashion and style. People who have educational or documentary content. Independent film creators. And if they form these blocks, then at least on the side of people who get in on that action early and had some support to begin with, their content will presumably not become endangered, because restricted mode and fiddling around with algorithms probably won't destroy them anyway. They'll all become far too popular. The top 40,000 or so people on YouTube are the ones with six-figure subscriber totals, driving the majority of all traffic on site. And then there are plenty of people with smaller amounts of subscribers that drive a significant amount as well. And regardless of whether they're taking AdSense, this is the other attack line some of the concerned trolls tried to use. It doesn't matter if you're taking AdSense or not. If you're driving a significant number of people to the site, you are capturing more of their interest, they're spending more time on the site, and potentially, in related videos and elsewhere, they're visiting ad-related content. Which indirectly means anyone with a significant subscriber base who is getting a significant audience and has any retention at all is still paying YouTube in ad form, even if they themselves don't take ads. The number of people that I drive to this website by creating my content, which is indexed elsewhere on the internet, and is visited by people who may not even have YouTube accounts who are seeing ads on all the material, is substantial. And even more so for people with far greater amounts of support. And look, make a Facebook page, make a Twitter page linking back to your own content. You're driving even more interest back to YouTube. So I ask that all of my fans here consider supporting these channels by subscribing to them. I didn't because I have other videos to make and writing to do and stuff. I wasn't able to go through and find out like their Twitters or anything like that. You'll probably be able to see anything like that on their pages. You can support that too. It's like I said, you know, if you've already got a Twitter, you should follow me, because then you can actually get notifications when I upload things. If you don't have a Twitter already, I wouldn't tell you to create one, because I don't even like Twitter, honestly. It's just for people who already use it. I realize there are thousands of people who have left my sort of status behind in technological terms. I'm like laptop generation. I want to make YouTube videos and use like a primitive text-only chat. I'm not in the mobile generation. I'm not really Twitter enabled, and I just have it spitting out my YouTube videos. So I would ask that you support these people. Again, NollaGirl504, TheLordHumungus, the Gunman, thecreepswork, and Semiogogue have all expressed interest in this. I ask that you support their work. I ask that they make videos asking their subscribers in turn to support one another's work, my work, and at the same time to make videos on the subject of YouTube's restricted mode especially. Terms of service be damned. The chance of them altering that substantially enough to actually inconvenience a significant number of users is actually pretty low. I'm not even particularly concerned about that. It's restricted mode slowly approaching that level because apparently they didn't format it properly. That's really screwing a lot of these channels over. And it seems like the larger the channel is, the more likely it is to be screwed over. Again, I don't understand. They're doing the exact opposite of anything that could be considered common sense. And I care enough about YouTube to want it to prosper, to want it to grow, because I like YouTube. I've been on here for years. I don't want to screw Google over. I don't want to screw YouTube over. I want to see them succeed, and I'm concerned that they're taking steps that are not conducive towards them succeeding. Because I really don't want to have to change video platforms. Nor did I want to have a Twitter account. I like YouTube. I'm going to stay on YouTube. For anyone that's worried, I'm not closing down my YouTube channel. My plan is back up all my older material of any note to other sites and begin like triple uploading everything. I do have a live leak now as well. I registered Styx and Hammer 666 there. I'm not going to start upping content though on there until the full backup is done on VidMe, because otherwise it's just going to be too much work in too short a span of time. I need to stretch it out a little more than that. And I've already physically backed up all this content. Like I got a massive flash drive here. It's got several hundred videos on it already. I'm going to be downloading more later, finish up with VidMe as far as the occult content, then start moving some of the music, gaming videos, the last MRE video and so forth. So please do patronize these channels. Please do give them your support, because it makes it less likely that they'll be censored. It makes it less likely that their attention will dry up because of notification throttling, and thus, of course, in the long run, a lot of people may lose interest. They stall out in their growth, and they stop making content. I look through their content, it's all of interest to me, so these are sort of political, social commentary, satire sort of material, interwoven with some of the social stuff that's outside of politics. So it's good stuff. That's about all. Peace out.